And welcome everybody to the 17th episode of Unhindered by Coding. We'll be here for 2 hours on this fine Saturday, continuing to work on ice-repos, a project where the goal is to support batch archiving of GitHub repositories in an organization using a web app, which we're building with Rust and WebAssembly, WASM. One could argue whether this is, do you need a web app? Maybe, maybe not. If you do need a web app, is Rust the best tool at the moment to build it? Probably not the fastest tool to build it, but I am looking to understand Rust better. That's one of my goals. And so doing Rust here was a way of building a thing with Rust and learning some more Rust and getting a thing that I care about, because I have, as an instructor through GitHub Classroom, I have organizations that have dozens, pushing 100 repositories, and archiving those by hand is not fun. So we are sort of, in theory, building a web app. In practice, I'm learning a lot of Rust. As far as frameworks, you seem to be a reasonable choice. There are obviously some other options out there. I think it's too early to say anybody has sort of won the space, but U seems to be reasonable and is under active development. And in fact, we'll talk today about a feature that will be in the next version of U, but isn't in the current version of U that I'm using, which has some consequences for solving a problem that we were talking about in a previous episode. We've currently got things working where user can enter an organization and actually let's we say trunk serve open, should have had this set up before you all got here, but we can look at the state of the app here in 10 seconds. Come on, you can do it, little computer. And come on, here we go. So we can enter an organization and we successfully get list of repositories from that organization. The display is pretty awful at the moment. That's one of the things that needs to be cleaned up. We have the name of the repo, the description, which most of these were created by GitHub Classroom, and so they have kind of an auto-generated description from that. When that repository was last updated and when it was last pushed to. I don't honestly understand exactly what updated means. These things don't always line up. They do on most of these, but here, for example, this was updated after it was last pushed to. I assume that things like changing the description or settings probably counts as an update, and so you can update a repository without pushing to it. I don't really know, and I haven't looked super hard, but I haven't found anything in the GitHub documentation that clarifies the distinction between these two things. But it seemed like knowing when these repositories were last touched would be useful when thinking about whether or not one wants to archive them or not. Things that have not been touched in many years pretty clearly would be archivable. Things that have been dealt with very recently probably would be less clear. And it just occurred to me that displaying when they were archived when they were updated or pushed to, is less useful than probably saying how long ago that happened. So I'm going to make a note that would be a useful thing to do. Actually, that's a big enough thing. I'm going to make just an issue out of that. Issue new. Display how long since last modification instead of date of last modification. What we get from GitHub is the date of last update push. Grab an example. But what might be more useful to display is how long since the last update push. For example, 2+ years. These could even be color coded for with things over a year old being green or something. I have to think about what would be a good color scheme here to indicate that archiving them makes a lot of sense, and things updated in the last few months being red or whatever to indicate that they are being actively used and should be left alone. Something like that. Okay. Cool. Okay, so sorry about that distraction, but it was like I want to capture that while I'm thinking about it. So we get our repositories. This being in this very light gray that's pretty much unreadable indicates that repository is already archived. I need to at some point move already archived repositories to the end of the list. There's no good way in the REST request from GitHub to do that up front, so I'm going to have to get that, and on the client side rearrange the list of repositories. They're currently sorted. Well, hello, esitsu. Nice to see you here. They're currently sorted by I think push date. So the ones that were pushed farthest away in time are at the front, and the more recently pushed are at the end, which seemed like a reasonable thing to do. One of the main things we have to do today is deal with some pagination issues. So the code currently is actually only asking for pages of 5. The default is actually 30, but just to sort of force the pagination to be clear, I've moved to pages of 5 for the moment. We'll go back probably to the default later. You can only go up to 100, and I can imagine this being useful for organizations with more than 100 repositories, so we're going to have to deal with pagination anyway. And one of the main things I want to deal with today is the fact that the pagination is broken. And it's cool that you're here, esitsu, because when this first came up 2, 3, 4 episodes ago, I was like, oh, let's use regular expressions to extract this piece of information out of the headers that we get from GitHub. And esitsu was like, well, we could also not use regular expressions because regular expressions are kind of a pain. And I was like, oh, no, not a problem. The regular expression's short. We'll just do that. Well, turned out that the regular expression led to the first and only just true bug I've had in this code so far. I mean, it's interesting working with Rust. Like, if you get it to compile, it really does tend to be right. But, you know, the regular expression, the compiler's got no say on whether you got that right or not. And sure enough, I didn't have it right. It seemed right, and then it was wrong. And then I thought I fixed it, and it was wrong again. So it's currently broken again. And esitsu had suggested, instead of using a regular expression, to do some split action and then use parse URL to actually do the URL parsing so that I didn't have to, and then I wouldn't get it wrong, because presumably the library that we'd be using would have gotten that correct, and I wouldn't be faffing about with regular expressions. And I was like, that's a great idea. I'm not going to do it. Well, now that I've been burned twice, I have come to the conclusion that I should totally have listened to you the first time. And we're going to start today, actually, by dealing with that. So I'm actually going to go back to trying to use other approaches. So if we find, so here's an example. Actually, let's we'll go here. La 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 la. And send that. Headers. So here's the link we get back. The link component of the actually let's change this to like 5, and let's change page to 3, send, because it'll make the link more interesting. This will this is what we're getting back in the header, and it has let's see if we scoot you over here. This will be a little easier. It has URLs, semicolon, oops, then kind of a little label, rel equals, and then that can be previous, next, first, and last. Can go in the piece, then a comma, then another URL, etc., etc., etc. And I was trying to use regular expressions to get, because the one we care about is rel last, because that tells us how many pages there are. If we get page equals and rel last, that has the information we need. The thing that makes it tricky from a regular expression process is, so first problem that I ran into is there's page and there's per page, and so I just had an expression that matched page equals some numbers. Well, that actually also matched this, and I got burned there. And the order in which these arguments occur is not specified. Like, they can come in whatever order. So page equals could be last, it could be first, it could be in the middle. So, you know, and you could do, I think you're right, we could do the split, find the right link, and then regex in that. But I actually, the more I've thought about this, the more I like your original idea of just letting the URL parsing tools do the parsing. It just seems, especially given that, like, I've screwed this up twice now, it seems that using a tool that somebody else has built, presumably tested, is looking after, to do that parsing seems like a better plan. I'm guessing it would be more flexible in the face of a variety of URL structures. So I really actually, after having been kind of that's a cool idea, but I'm not doing it. I actually really come to think that your idea of using parse URL is actually what I want to do. Because it just seems like, and once I've got the URL, calling parse URLs not any harder than calling a regex on it. I mean, the sort of the hard part of your version was doing all the splitting, which is not hard. It just took a lot of faffing about, doing all the splitting to get down to the right piece. But I think that that's probably the right thing to do, to be honest with you. So that's actually what I think I want to start with today, is actually fix the regular expression nonsense by getting rid of it, not by trying to fix the regex. Okay, so that would mean that we come back here, this is where the regular expression is right now, and this regular expression is probably close to right and probably could be fixed, but regular expressions are hard to read and they're hard to maintain, and so I kind of feel like getting rid of the darn thing would be a win. So I think we want to do something like, now if I remember correctly, you had a nice version that sort of chained everything in sort of a nifty way. So I'm gonna actually, boom. And actually that was connected to the regular expression, so I'm gonna put it down here and comment it out as well. Okay, so we want the num pages. Oh, thank you. Welcome. Appreciate you joining us. To be. So we want the link stir. We want split. Yeah, no, I've got it. And I thought about looking it up, but I kind of like starting from scratch, like with the idea in my head and in your head, but then sort of going through it again. It's not perhaps the most efficient way, but I find that in terms of my own understanding, it's better to do sort of reconstruction if I can. So let's see. Go at what is all split? Yeah. And now split takes, so in fact, we're going to take the links to the, we're taking the pattern, which is just comma. Now, is that going to work? Is there ever a place where a comma can be in a URL? I don't know the answer to that. Can a comma appear in a URL? They're allowed in the file name part of a URL. So that maybe is a problem. I mean, I don't suspect it's really a problem, because I don't think GitHub, I mean, I guess if, well, I mean, they're not going to use a comma here. This is a fixed word. That's an ID that won't have a comma. This is fixed. So I don't think we need to worry about there being commas in any of this, because they're generating all of this in a controlled way. So fingers crossed. I'm just going to make a note, though. This will break if there can ever be a comma in a URL, but that doesn't seem likely given the structure of these GitHub URLs. Yeah, I thought about, and maybe actually that would be, I also thought about like splitting on the quote mark as well, but actually the comma space, I like that idea. I think that's a good idea. Because a space shouldn't ever be in a URL, whereas a quote mark could be in a but I think it has to be escaped if it's in a URL. But let's do the comma space. I think that's a swell plan. Okay, so we've got that, and that returns one of these split, an iterator. And so then, actually I'm going to do this. We want to filter over those to find the one that has rel equals last in it. So we need a predicate. So this is going to take an S, and we want, which is going to be a reference to a slice, and we want to see if s dot contains, and we want a pattern which is just going to be it's going to have to be one of these r bang things, rel equals last. So that's going to look for the chunk. So we're going to get chunks that look like this, and we're going to look for the chunk that has rel equals last in it, which I think was one of the problems I was having. Oh, ends with would be nicer. Good catch. I like that. Ends with. Yes. Well done. I like being as specific as possible is always, I think, a reasonable strategy. And so while both ends with and contains will work, ends with, I think, is the preferable option, because it would give us a more specific thing. And it can't then accidentally match something in the URL, because that won't be at the end. Now, I guess if GitHub changed the structure here, that would break things. But if they change the structure very much, it's going to break a lot of things anyway. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Okay, so now that gives us this piece. And now we want everything before the semicolon in that piece. Now I don't know. These are all. So I want string. Is am I worried about it ending with a space? Well, that could be. So maybe trim isn't a bad idea. Yeah, I think I like that. I think that was a good idea. Now, I could split on this and take the first part. Do I want... I wonder if there's something else in string that would just trying to see if there's something that might be niftier. R split. What does that do? Oh, reverse order. Totally not helpful. is split at? Divides one string slice into two at an index. Not helpful. Split once. The first occurrence, the specified delimiter. No, actually I like split once. That's, I think, what I was looking for. Is I was hoping for something that would be more specific and just split at one place. So split once takes the pattern and returns an option with the left and the right parts. And the option is none if the pattern doesn't appear, and it's sum with the two parts if the pattern does. So you prefer the split next, because we don't care about the right hand side. Yeah, I guess what I don't know is, and this totally doesn't matter, right? I am overthinking this because 'tis my nature. But split's going to build all the machinery for an iterator, and I don't need a proper iterator because I'm not gonna look at everything. Now maybe split followed by next, it can be optimized so that it doesn't really build an operator there, a full iterator there. But with the split once, I can imagine like it can be smart and just find the delimiter, split the two pieces, and we don't have the overhead of an actual iterator. And then I can just underscore the right hand side to indicate that I don't really care what it is. Or, in fact, I could put rel equals last as a way of enforcing a kind of invariant that it matched correctly. Life is complicated. Actually, what's strip suffix? Would that do the right thing? Returns a string slice with the suffix removed. And in this case, we know the suffix. And we get a sum none as a kind of invariant check. If we failed to have the right suffix, it would fuss at us. And that would be potentially useful. So maybe strip suffix would be nice. I sort of like that idea. You just had a thought. I'll wait and let you type your thought. You just had that thought. I gotcha. Okay. Well, let's try that. Let's see if we can make strip suffix work. So strip suffix. Hang on. We have to get the first out, the only out of that filter. So I'm gonna need next. And now this is going to return an option, and we really ought to have, so I'll put the unwrap. Now, I guess expect we failed to find a rel equals last entry. Now at this point we should have in our case, that should give us the string, and so now we should be able to say strip. Oh, filter map. Ooh. What does filter map do? Rust filter map. Filter map. Iterate use F to both filter and map element. Oh yeah, right. I did this once. This will probably have. Oh no. Yes. Yields only values for which the supplied closure returns sum. Okay. So, Yeah. Okay. So basically we can keep tacking onto here. If we say filter map instead of filter. Then we skip the next and the expect business because those will be dealt with later. And we say we want strip. No, it must be suffix. Oh. No, I'm confused. Oh, add it. Gotcha. So this would be this is still just filter, and then we have filter map. Filter, and we don't have to worry about doing the next and the expect because filter map will just take the none variant and deal with it. Okay, so we're filter mapping F, and F takes a string slash. So now we can say, oh, so really F is not the right name here. S would be better. S dot strip suffix, and the suffix is going to be, and this is going to be an R bang again. I mean R, not bang, R octothorpe, and we're going to want to strip out semicolon space rel equals last. And I'm hoping I can do a fancy trim thing to get the angle brackets to come off. So that strips the suffix, and then so there look like there's a bunch of trim stuff, and I'm hoping that maybe what is trim matches? All prefixes and suffixes that match a pattern repeatedly removed, which I think might do what we want. Yeah. So I think if we do the right pattern here, we can take off the angle brackets. Trim matches was trim matches, right? Yeah. And that's going to be but now we got a regular expression. Yeah, because what I was thinking was to try to get away with one trim matches and then have a regular expression that was angle bracket, left or right angle bracket. But then we're back into regular expressions, and that might be gross. So let's actually do trim start. Is it not trim start? Trim left. Trim left? Nope, trim start. Okay, so trim start. And that takes, oh no, trim start matches. Okay. So trim start matches that dot trim end matches that. And now that should be the URL. And now we can parse. With this map thing is getting pretty, filter map is getting pretty big. Let's actually do a, because it's going to get bigger before we're done. So let me break that out. Now we would have to do parse URL, parse Rust, parse URL, I think is what it was. So URL : parse. So we're gonna have to use that. Add another map to the chain. Well, and parse returns a result, not an option. Yeah. I see. So since this is going to return an option, and result, or the parsing is going to return a result, I can't stick the parsing in here. Well, that's mildly annoying, but understandable. So now this is where we'll have to say expect. No, next. Right. Dot expect. Wow. What's the reasonable message here? I'm just going to say unwrap for a second. Let's see if we get this thing to work, and then we'll come back and have to clean up. I've got a bunch of unwraps that are going to need to be dealt with. Now, dot, oh, that's why the trims didn't, yeah. That's why those didn't autocomplete, because this is an option. Yeah, okay. Somehow, why did I think... Somehow I think I thought that filter map was going to continue to let us step into the option. But that doesn't seem to be true. Okay, so in fact this, after having done all this fussing around with spacing, really, we're back up here, and that is that. And then this is that. And this is that. Oh, but the next unwrap need to be .next .unwrap. That all happens here. Now, there we go. Okay, and now we want the URL parse, which actually, if I can. So it was capital URL parse. None of this is looking right. So URL is not known. So I have to like grab a crate. I have to have the URL crate. So that's not part of standard. Doesn't look like. Well, that's mildly annoying. Yeah. Okay. Well. So version 2.2.2. That's easy to remember. Cargo.toml. URL equals 2.2.2. Now it's contemplating its navel. Oh, nice. Yes, I see what you're saying. So if I called URL parse, the chain wouldn't work, but I can call parse and say what I want is a URL. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of nifty. Now, that's because I don't have these guys up here. Boom. No. Oops, that is. Yeah, no, that's right. Where did my parsing go? There we are. Oh. So syntax seems right. Now why is it fussing here? Suffixes on a string literal or invalid. Oh. That's interesting. So I have to do this and backslash? Oh, I added an R at the end. That's right. That was my, okay. So I don't want the backslashes. Make them go away. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So this all parses, and now parse URL gives us a result type, and if we unwrap that, we should be able to unwrap. And now this is the URL. And the URL, we get the headers. Oh no, it's not a URL. It's not a response. We already did that. We need the query params. Query pairs? Let's actually look. Query. So query is that. Thank you. Welcome. So I'm assuming that query pairs, what does that return? Parses the URL's query string and returns an iterator of key value pairs. What does query itself do? That returns the string. I want somebody to parse the string. And that seems, so I think query pairs is the right. And now that gives me, I really wanted something that was more like a map that I could look up things in. Yeah, a lot of libraries you get a map-like thing for the query pair, so you can look up key value things by key, for example. And here we have to iterate over. I wonder, can you? Yeah, I was thinking I could collect the iterator into a map, but that seems like a hassle. You kind of wish they had done that for us. But I don't know. Let's just take the iterator. Filter. KV. It's probably a pair. KV. Right? Because query pairs. Yeah. Takes them as pairs. So KV bang. K dot equals or EQ. EQ page. And let's actually put you down here. That's going to give us. Yeah, I was actually thinking find map was probably going to be the thing I want because. Find map, not filter map. Find map. Rust find map. Find map. The function returns the first non-none result. Oh, actually, then should we have used find map here? Because we want just the one. Oh, I guess no. Here. Because, yes, there are clearly many combinations. But I think I hadn't realized that find map was a thing. And if there's only one that you care about, I suspect that find map makes more sense than filter. So yeah, find map is filter map F next. And so we could avoid the next here by replacing this with a find map, I think. Find map. And it returns the first none result. So ends with. So why are we grumping here? Expected option but found bool. Oh, because ends with doesn't return an option, it returns a true false. Gotcha. So maybe I did need a find. So find map applies the function, returns the first non-none result, whereas find takes a predicate and returns some element stop processing as soon as it finds something that's true. Oh yeah, I see your point. If I had used find here, then I would end that iterator. But in some sense, that seems to be kind of the right thing to do, because there's really not, like, once we have found the one thing, we don't want or need any further iteration, other than, you know, maybe using like map or else or something to treat the option as an iterator. We don't really want to think about that as an iterator anymore. And I think we could still do mapping across the option here. So you're suggesting split, filter, and then find map. Oh, yeah. So look for... Okay, I'm going to back up a second. So I had filter and then filter map. And I think I could just use... But can't I just do find? Like, can't we just say find s.trim.ends with boom rel equals last boom. And that gives me an option. And now I want to map across that. So can't I just map? And is it map or map or? Map's an option T to an option U. So I should just be able to map across this, I think. And so this is going to be stop. S again. S.strip suffix r bang rel equals last quote Octhorpe again. Ooh, now I've got an option string. That doesn't seem good. Why did that happen that way? Why did I get option? Oh, you're right. Because that returns an option. If I did find map, then I could strip suffix and leave the find out. Ho. I think that's nifty. And basically we want this to go here. Yes. Now, so at that point, we've found the component, and we just have the one item then, because it returns an option, and we can get rid of this. This is no longer meaningful. And we don't need any of that. We don't need next, but we do need unwrap. And now that part is all doing the right thing again. Well, that's nifty. I like that better. So now find map, I think, is again the thing to do here. And is it find map or just find? I could. Oh. Can I do a pattern match here in the argument? No, I don't think I can. I'm just trying to think if I can somehow. I mean, I could do something kind of gross. With like an if k equals page, then sum of v else none. That seems, there's got to be like a map or find map would embed a match in the closure. Yeah, and that's what I was trying to avoid. And my if is sort of the same thing. So, okay, I think we'll go with your idea of find and then map in a separate step. So that finds that. Now we get an option, cowster, map, k, v, oops, no, I don't want that. And I guess I need an unwrap technically here, and then this just returns v. Oh, actually, can't I just? Yeah, okay, that's fine. And why are you grumpy? Oh, it's not. Oh, if I unwrap. Oh, unwrapping, I think, made things worse here. If I don't unwrap, then I can map. Yeah, so now I get v, and now I probably, oh no, I can parse that, because it's in the option, right? So, oh, actually, so instead of v here, I can actually do the parsing. Parse usize v. Didn't like that. No. Oh, I don't want the. I want v dot. Yeah. Stop it. Now we have an option containing a result. Okay, that doesn't look good. We don't really want an option containing a result. So I presumably do want to unwrap and then parse as a new step. Yeah, because it's, yeah. So parse returns a result, and I'm in option land, so I think I am going to have to. So this is going to be that, and we'll unwrap here. Boom. And oops, can't spell. Oh, and actually, I did want enough of a map to get the piece out. Dot map a v. Okay. So now num pages stir is num pages stir parse usize, and it's all shouty. Oh, num pages stir dot parse, not. There we go. And just be terrible. Let's say unwrap again. And I guess I don't really need to make that a thing, because that's just what I'm returning. Whoa. Okay. No. Not happy. What's the problem? Temporary value dropped while borrowed. Okay, so this is Rust telling me that I need. So, yeah, it does look like, but I don't understand what. What the issue is. Temporary value is freed at the end of this statement. So let me so this creates a temporary which is freed so this is freed here, but it is used here. So why is that temporary freed? Because it's no longer, when we just do the unwrap here, the chain is broken, but we're referring into this string, this parse, this URL object. Because everything's stir slices, we have references into that thing. Well, fascinating. So this really should be, so this should be like last URL, and then this semicolon's here, and then let num pages stir equal last URL dot. Oh, stop it. you up. Oops, too many. And now this gets to live long enough to be used here in the return statement, and then it's freed. Wow. This is one of these places where it makes me feel like I don't understand programming at all. I mean, after, I don't know, 45 years of programming, I get to things like this and I'm just like, I'm so stupid. And I think, I mean, there are different ways to think about it. One is you could say, well, Rust is just a pain in the butt, and why am I here? And I expect there's a lot of people that get to something like this and are like, okay, there's just a better way to do this. But on the, I think my response, at least at the moment, is this tells me that there's something I have been sloppy about for a very long time, and that I need to be, or I should be less sloppy about it. And Rust is simply being very careful, pedantic, depending on how you want to think about things, and not letting me be sloppy in the ways that I'm used to being sloppy. So that is really, really interesting. Now, I don't remember... I know I've seen cow, but to be honest with you, I don't remember what cow is. Come on, what is going on here? Rust cow. Smart pointer providing clone on write functionality. It can enclose and provide immutable access to borrowed data and clone the data lazily when mutation or ownership is required. So query pairs is giving us a parse thing, which is cow stir slices. So it doesn't take out the pieces of the URL unless we do something with them. So that's why they're the cow string slices. And since we never... Oh, I guess right here, actually, we want this and we unwrap it. So we are taking ownership of that, but we don't write to it. So maybe we never actually use the cow magic features. But we do take ownership of V here. So we're taking ownership of a piece of the URL at that point. And that URL is in this. Is the result of this thing. And it wasn't, it's when it was in the chain, the ownership there disappeared at the end of the statement, and so we got into a problem here when we tried to parse out of that string. Okay, I think I kind of understand this. And we've got some unused things warnings, so we can actually, since we don't use V and K here, we can get rid of those. Yeah. So do we think there was a way to not unwrap here, I guess is the question. Because we were going from option to result, is there something that lets you sort of transition from option to result? Is there like a... one of the map or something like that that would let us make that transition without calling the unwrap there? Because I get now that the unwrap created this ownership issue that complicated things. Let's see. Rust transition from option to result. Maybe somebody's had this question. I wanted the other way around. Yeah. Ooh, actually, something here, transform option T into result TE. What does that do? Transforms OK or. Huh. This is a function, not an error thing. Huh. So maybe OK or would have done the right thing. And then we could wait and just do the unwrap once at the end. Let us see if we could make that work. I'm going to actually comment this code out, but have it so it's there to look at. Now, if we say, instead of unwrap, we say OK or, and I think I want that. And so it's going to take an error. None to error. Okay, or else. And okay, or else just takes a function, transforms an option T into result TE, mapping some V to OK V and none to error. I don't really see why I would prefer OK or else, to be honest with you, in this case. Because it seems like I just want a simple error object with a string in it for a message. Although, why can't... So you say you don't think I want those unless I return a result or an option, but if I just unwrap at the end... Oh, but I think, are you concerned that I'm still going to have to unwrap here and then I'm going to have the same problem? Because because once I unwrap here, no matter what I do, I'm going to end up with the same ownership issue. So unless I make this return like a result type, I'm not going to really avoid the problem. Okay, I think I see that. Okay, fine. So it wasn't really the transition from well, yeah, it's not really this that's the issue. It's this that's the fundamental problem, and I can't make that go away easily. Unless I make this return result, which I could do. I wonder if that actually would be better. And then I could have some oh. Well, but do I want to return 1? If the parsing fails, I don't know that 1's the right answer. I feel like if the parsing fails, I want to know the parsing failed, not that not cover it up by just returning 1. So I don't know. Let's think. This could fail, and that would be if rel equals last wasn't there, which I think is always going to be present. I think that we might not have a link element in the headers. If there's only one page, we just don't even get a link element. If we have a link element, I think it has a last. I don't know. Let's actually. That's an interesting question now. So this said there were 11 pages. Let's ask for page 11. Look, there is not a last. Interesting. So if you ask for the last page, it doesn't give you a last. What if you ask for too far out? What happens? You get empty, and you do get a last. That's interesting. That almost makes me think we want to return a result type here, or an option type. Where then we could distinguish because when we look at the last, when we make the request for the last page, we're gonna would you want a result option? That seems kind of gross, but maybe I'm missing something. Feels like what you really, the results option is sort of saying it could have failed, wrapped around, and it could have not been there. I guess if you wanted the result to indicate error conditions and the option to indicate it just wasn't there, so that if it's the last page, option would be a way of saying it wasn't there. and result around that is a way of saying we might have had problems with like this business. Well, actually, it wasn't there. The parsing could have failed. That would be a result type thing. The query pairs. Oh no, the find could have failed because there's no page element. So that would be an error. And this is just coming from this. Okay, so this could be a fail because we didn't find page, so that would be an error. And then parsing the usize would be an error. Yeah, so maybe a result option for not found is the right thing to do here. Man, like we've been at this an hour and a half, which is really good. Like I really love wrestling with stuff like this, but it does not make for fast programming. But I'm trying to learn stuff, not build stuff for money. So, okay. So if we did that, so this would become a result option usize. Oh yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Let's actually see if this thing works, because I know it compiles, but that's as far as we've actually gotten. Oops, unwrap, open, close. Maybe it would be useful to know that it actually does a useful thing before we get too far into the weeds. Boom. Ho-ho, 11! That is the right answer for that. Now, okay, so there's still something wrong with my buttons, because my buttons are constantly returning, sometimes they don't return anything. That's weird. So the last button returns nothing. Everybody else just returns the first 5. Let's look at my JavaScript console, because there's some, not down here, because there's some debugging that will tell us what's going on. Last page is 11, current page is 1. So it is getting the right number of pages. If we go here, yeah, it still says the current page is 1, but the last page is 11. So that's a different problem. I think that's not why the buttons aren't working. I think there's a separate issue about the buttons. And I'm not sure I understand that last one, unwrapped. But I mean, I think this works. And you know what? Actually, I'm gonna clean up a little bit. Oh yeah, you're right. That's probably why the last page doesn't work, is there's no last there. This parse last page dies as a result. And can I, if I click on 11, yeah, bingo, 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 died. So called option unwrap on a none value on line 174. Right here, yes, it failed to find rel equals last because it was the last page. Well spotted. Yes, absolutely. So that's why that didn't work. That's good. That's good. Now, I'm going to do a little tidying. I'm going to commit, and then we'll worry about the other thing. Now, it's interesting. We made this go away because we no longer have the regular expression. And we don't need that anymore. And we're not actually using this, but I think we might here in a second. Oh, and actually, I've got two other warnings. I should have used, which makes sense now that I think about it, characters here instead of strings. And let's make sure that still looks like that works. Then I'm going to make a commit, and then we'll worry about the whoa! That was weird. Oh, it was still compiling. I got ahead of myself. Meow. Boom. Boom. Yep. Okay. So that's a known thing. I'm actually going to commit this. Oh, the cargo toml. I don't need regex in one cell anymore. I should probably fix that. Might come back to needing them, but for now, doodly 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 doo. Okay. So that is just removing the regex in one cell and replacing it with the URL. That's doing the same thing. Okay, so stage changes. So convert from using regex to parse link string to string functions. The regex burned me twice by not working when I thought it did. So I decided to go back to esitsu at Twitch's suggestion to use string functions like split and URL parsing to manage all this. This required bringing in the URL crate, but meant we could drop the once cell and regex crates. Boom. Okay. So now it's sort of, oh, I meant to actually say that this doesn't really work. This doesn't quite work because it fails if there's, it panics, I should say, if there's no rel equals last entry in the link string, which happens when you request the last page. Our plan is to change this to return a result option type to capture this possibility and the various errors that can occur. Update message. Okay. Whew. Okay, so it's 11:30. Hopefully we can maybe get the result option thing to happen, and then that's probably going to be the end of the day. I'm not sure what I want to have here. I guess I need an error type. I could use, I was wondering if we could get away with just parse error. So actually, let's think about that. So we unwrap here. If that fails, it's because we didn't have a rel equals last. That goes in the option piece, so we would put a none here. The parsing of the URL is a parse error. We have one of those. And then this is also a parse error. Now, it's kind of not a URL parse error, arguably. But it's, oops, where am I? Yeah. It's a different sort of parsing error than a URL parse error. So if I just put a parse error here, I'm either going to have to convert so I think having my own little guy that struct link parse error. Oh, it's actually an enum, not a struct. And it's going to have a URL parse error that takes a URL parse error. Oops, parse error. Or it's going to take a page num parse error, which will be let's go back to just usize here so I can. What do you return? You return a f of type error is all. That's not very helpful. Really? So parse error doesn't oh, hello. You know, and I've actually thought about using anyhow or error, or there's another one, error stack. Oh, and you just said error stack if I read farther. Yeah, so I've actually thought about using one of those. And I like the context and attachment stuff. From what I've read, I've never actually typed any of that code. So that, I think, is an interesting suggestion. And I'm actually going to not do it today. Introduce anyhow error or error stack. I do feel like that might be the thing to do downstream. But in 25 minutes, I'm kind of hoping I can get something simple done, just because I'll understand the structure of things, and then maybe in a future episode we'll be able to I might come back to this, because I do want to I feel like these error management tools are good. They serve an important, useful purpose, and that it would be good for me to understand them and know how to use them, and this would be a good place to try. The other thing that's a little weird here is, of course, since this is in a web app, some things are a little funky, but not too funky. Like, I don't know, I'm not sure that in U I can return a result type, for example. So I don't think it could go all the way to main like it would in some other scenarios. But we can still have it move up and down the stack and catch it at certain places and deal with it. So not a bad idea. Okay, so I'm actually Rust parse to usize. Usize. Going to be parsing there? Is that where that lives? Parse. Parse int error. I bet that's what I'm going to get. Okay. Oh, I could just have done from stir. Yeah, parse int error. Okay. So I would say parse int error. Parse int error. Boom. So then, why are you unhappy? Oh, it's little URL. Happier? Happier. So then this would be result. Angle there. Result. Option. Usize. Link parse error. No. Parse error. Okay. Missing page query param to consider. Yeah. Is that, if that happens, that's like GitHub is broken. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, is this, I guess I was trying to be explicit about which kind of parse error that was. But I guess at the moment it's the only one that's brought in, so it's not confusing. So I feel like if this fails, then GitHub has failed to return something. Yeah, when esitsu first suggested result option, I was like, really? But I was convinced up in the comments earlier that that was really the right thing to do. It makes a lot of sense. So option will tell us if something was there at all, because it might not be. This might be missing. And I actually should make a comment here that this rel equals last is missing if we're on the last page. Should make a note of that. Yeah. And so this seems to be the right thing. So going back to the page thing, if this fails, it fails because GitHub like didn't include the page element, which is kind of, it's not clear what we would do with that fact. Like if GitHub just, I guess maybe it's worth including, and then we can log it. And page entry missing error. And that just doesn't take anything. Unless we wanted to include the string that it failed, the URL it failed to extract from. Could do that. Yeah, why not? Okay, so then let's go through and think about what's going on here. So this unwrap wants to be the option none type. So we want to return result none here if that fails. So instead of unwrap, we want like map or else. No, map or. Yeah, because we don't want to change. Do we need map, or is it just or else? Or la 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 la. Or else. Come on. What does that do? Or else that returns an option. No, we're trying to turn this into a result. Yeah, that's true. And I think one of the things that things like stack error are trying to do is avoid the need to have a bunch of from conversions as you move from one kind of error to another. But yeah, that would be in a lot of ways the simplest thing to do here. And then we're going to need a from. That, so this is returning a blah, blah, blah. Strip suffix is going to return an option. Actually, can I do a from here? Am I going to have enough information to have? So it's going to be an option, string slice, and I'd want to convert that into a result type. Oh, but really, no, I do want something here. Yeah, that could be the thing. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. So this is now the last entry, and down here we're going to want to have let last URL equal last entry. That's going to come up there. Whoa. What did I do wrong here? Oh, that's because, yeah, that's just because we don't have the right. So then match last entry. Oh, and because we want match last entry option. I guess let's do none. None. Then we would want result none. And we're out of here. And if we have some and some string, then we're going to want to have so we really want to return result none here. And here we want to, how do I grab the value out of here? Oh, right. So if I do this and that, if this happens, we will return, whoa. Oh. So I need, what? Result. Oh, I need okay. Yeah, right. I always make that mistake. Yeah, okay. That's a weird looking construct. So if this matches none, we'll return okay none. And then that leaves the function, and this assignment never really happens. Otherwise, we will assign the string slice that's in the sum variant to last entry, and life will be good. Okay, wow. So that takes care of that. Now here, this, if the parse fails, yeah, right. Yeah, because I'm converting from an option to a result here, we can't just use question mark, which is a little too bad. But now we might be able to just get away with question mark later on, because parse returns a result. So this actually, I ought to be able to do this, but I might need a from that converts a yeah, so I've got a link. I want a link parse error, and I've got something else, a URL parse error. So I need a from here. Impl from for link parse error. I think that's the right syntax. If I want to return OK early, oh, you're talking about up here, not on the part that I'm actually working on, I think. So we're going to have to implement the missing members. So E parse error. We're going to want to create a URL parse error. Oops. Ah! Boom. No. Didn't like that. Oh, I think I need a link parse error. Error colon. Woohoo! I'm slowly getting there. Oh, self would be better. Yes. That makes sense. I like that. Don't repeat the name if I don't have to. Yeah. Okay. So that now returns an appropriate type. Oh, really? So in that discussion, there are camps in both directions, I'm assuming. I mean, I like the self idea because then if I were to change, oh, gotcha. Because I like self better because if I were to change this name, I don't have to change it here. So I still have to change it here, and there's probably no way around that because that's how these two things are connected. But if I use self, then I don't have to change the name down below. And that seems like that would be a good thing. And yeah, right, you know, F2. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I can see it. And I do, I mean, as somebody who is new to the language, I've gotten better about it now, but at first I found all these selfs. I was mentally having to unwind those and figure out what that meant. Whereas if this had said link parse error here and link parse error here, I wouldn't have had that problem. So, yeah. And so here, now this unwrap happens. So this is going to be also a question mark. Boom, boom, boom. And we're going to need a from on. Oh, actually, no, that can't be a question mark because there's not a. Well, maybe it could. What do we get here? We get. Oh, it's because this is an option. So we're going to have another match again. Poop, poop, poop. Because find returns an option. Well, that's annoying, to be honest with you. Let num pages stir equals match num pages stir none. We're going to return a link parse error : page entry missing. We're going to hand it num pages stir. Oh, next I want to hand it the whole URL. I want to hand it the last URL. Otherwise, we want to return Sum S. Go away. Semicolon there. And oh, we could have done an okay or else here. So the suggestion is I could have said okay or no, okay or just gives me, I just take the error field, which actually I think is probably going to be okay. No, because that's going to wrap it in ERR, and I don't want an ERR. Whereas, or else, but that's going to wrap it in an ERR too. Oh, but that's what I want. Because that'll be the error thing. So what I want is link parse error : page entry missing last URL. Boom. Now I get rid of all that. And then I need a question mark on that so that if it's a link parse error, it just returns right away. And now I've got a stir. And now I see. Like I'm always going to make this call here this way, even if I don't need it. And if I do okay or else, then I avoid that construction unless it has to happen. And then this is going to be a question mark, and it's going to require another from int parse error for link parse error from int parse error to self what did I call it, page num parse error, and I'm gonna pass it e. Boom, bop, blue. That's probably an import problem. Oh, no. Cannot find type. Yes, so I need to import that. Why did quick fix not do the right thing? Well, that's not helpful. So, oh, it's parse int error. That may be my problem. Parse int error. Look at that. Oh, and I even knew it was parse int error up there. Duh. Okay. Now that's happier. Oh yeah. So I probably want, the display stuff. I probably would like to have a custom display thing, and this is again where some of these other tools like do a lot of that display stuff for you in a nice way, and I won't have that here, but let's see if this even works. Okay, so it doesn't yet because oddly enough, down on line 205, oh no, not here. Why is this unhappy? Oh, because that actually returns a usize. I didn't really want the question mark there. No. What have I done? Oh yeah, sure. So here I want okay, and that's for the result, and then sum, and that's for that, and I want to get the thing out. Nope. Oh, it's okay little k. Okay little k. Oh, yes. And now we'll map it and wrap it inside. Oh. Yeah. Actually, I sort of like that idea better. Dot map sum. Oops, I don't want the semicolon. And now I don't want semicolon. Do I need a question mark? No. It's grumpy about what? Actually, what is that? That's a resolution option cow stir. Oh, I lost the parse line somehow. What did I do? Oh, the parse moved. I get it. The parse moved down into the okay sum. This actually would have been dot map sum. And now we're grumpy because why am I grumpy? Expected link parse error. Oh, it didn't. It's not converting the parse int error to a link parse error. So I need an into. Okay, let me read a second. So yeah, the error type isn't converted. So I need a map error. Can I do map and map error at the same time? So I know there's map error, and that just changes the error. What does map or do? That leaves the... Yeah, that's not helpful. So am I going to have to map the error and map the value as two separate things? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oops. Oh, sorry. Boom. Yeah, I don't know. This is getting more complicated. I think maybe I go back. Whoa, no. To just okay, some that boom boom. Maybe that's just simpler. Kind of leave that alone. Yeah, the having to do the two maps, one to map the value and one to map the error, just seems like a lot of faffing about. So I think just grab the usize, build the result, call that a thing. And now, and I'm going to have to wrap up soon, but we're so close, I think, to having something that works. So this is fussy because, let's see, where do we call the thing we were just building? Parse last page. Go to references. Okay, right here. So parse. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap here too. I kind of wish I could just like. So finish this. I mean, I guess, right? I could just say. I just need to put an unwrap on that. No. Suggestion is unwrap or to use the current. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, so the idea is to use unwrap or in place of map or. Oh, that's actually a nice idea. Unwrap or. And we just want to return 1. Why are we unhappy? Gotta stir. Oh, we need to call. Right. I had. Need to call parse. What did I call my function? Parse last page. And it needs to be handed the link, and then that result needs to be unwrapped or default as 1. And we're grumpy. Why are we grumpy? Oh, the unwrap only unwraps the result. So we actually have to unwrap the result. And then unwrap or, no, that didn't like that. Why are we? Oh, debug. So we have to have that. Derive debug. So I can make that problem go away. Found an option. What? So why would you recommend link as deref map? So I guess it would just be map, so, instead of map or. So we would have this and map parse link last page. And then we would unwrap, except that doesn't work. Do we actually just need 1 unwrap now? No, we need 2, because we gotta get We got a result. Option usize. Okay, I'm clearly not being smart anymore. I am just banging around. Oh, this, it thinks this needs to be a 1. I mean, a result type. Because we don't have enough unwrapping. So why did unwrap here? I would have thought that would unwrap the result type. And then do I have to, well, maybe, do I need this to be okay 1 and then unwrap here? No, that is not the right answer. Oh, why is map an unwrap an option result option? Ugh. That just looks very unattractive. I don't like this at all. And is that because, yeah, because as deref returns an option. I mean, if I unwrap the as deref, then, oh, now it's not an iterator anymore. The map was there to map over the option. Try map, transpose, flatten. Oops, not semicolon. Ooh. Map, transpose, okay, flatten. Nope, that didn't work. I wonder if transpose unwrap. Actually, what is transpose returning here? Transpose is returning a result so it's got like one too many, so it feels like the flatten no, I feel like flatten was doing something here. Oh, it's an option of an option. Yikes. This is gross. Okay. I'm gonna like so the proposal is to unwrap the transpose. I thought we did that, and I think it didn't work. Yeah, still not happy. Oh, no, stop it. Oh, but actually, I feel, oh, judging from the error message, I think if I do an unwrap here, might solve the problem. Oh! That takes care of that ugly thing. And And now it turns out there is another issue that's an ownership problem back up here now, right here. So you have an ownership problem on this URL that didn't used to be there. So, I'm going to stop here because, to be honest with you, this business was just a whole lot of guess and check, and I don't really understand it, and I want to stop and think about it a little bit. And we've got this other problem now to be solved. So the idea that this is going to resolve the last page business is clearly not happening in the minus 16 minutes that are remaining. So I'm going to stop here. And I need to say I will not be here Tuesday because we're moving our child to Madison, Wisconsin to start grad school there. And we will either be moving things in and out of the house or on the road somewhere. So either way, I'm not going to be here with your lovely company, which makes me really sad because I feel like we're so close to something. But I think I'll be here next Saturday. Fingers crossed. I'll be able to be here next Saturday. It's dimly possible that I'll be on a laptop trying to make this work, and that might be a little weird. But I don't know. We shall see. But hopefully I'll be here a week from today, but I will not be here on Tuesday. I hugely appreciate all the suggestions and support. You folks are great, and it's a big win having everybody here. I'm going to wrap this up and let everybody go home. We will hopefully see some of you when I'm next here. So thanks a lot. You're awesome. And I shall talk to everybody later. Bye.